Now imagine it's February and you go into your indoor garden and you come out with a harvest that looks like this. That is exciting to see. Guten Gardening, everybody! Well, I am super excited for today's video because today we get to focus in on some of the fruits and vegetables that we've successfully grown indoors in the past. You know, I think sometimes when we think about indoor gardening, we sometimes self-limit a little bit, or we're afraid to experiment, wondering what it is we can actually grow indoors. And today I'm going to focus on 20 plus fruits and vegetables, again, that we've successfully grown. So these are ones that we've grown here that we've had experience with. We're not just suggesting something that may work. We know these absolutely work. Now, this is also day 5 in our 31 days of Guten Gardening, gardening gift giving series. So if you haven't checked out the other days, you really should. But our giveaway today is perfect for this type of video. Now, if you've been enjoying our content during this series, please make sure you give us a like on this video. That helps us out a ton. And definitely comment on this video or on one of our current community posts on YouTube to be entered into our next giveaway. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the many different fruits and vegetables that we've successfully grown in our indoor garden here at Guten Gardening. Well, first I'm going to say that when it comes to what you can grow, the size of the space that you have can be somewhat limiting, but there are almost always plants that you can grow even in those smaller limited sizes, and one of those is microgreens. Now, microgreens are a great example of a vegetable you can grow indoors in a minimal amount of space. They're incredibly nutritious, and on top of that, they don't take very long to grow. Within 8 to 10 days, you could be eating some really healthy greens, and there's quite a variety. In our garden, we have grown peas, and those peas are amazing. They keep growing for a long period of time. We've grown broccoli, we've grown amaranth, we've grown a whole bunch of different microgreens, and this season we have a whole bunch more, this indoor season, to show you that we plan to grow. So we're really excited about that. We've got some experiments coming. I think you're gonna love that. But microgreens are a great addition to your garden space, even if it's limited. Now, there are plenty of other vegetables that don't take up a ton of space as well. And some of our favorites to grow are our leafy greens. We've grown radicchio indoors, which is a really nice, 35, 40 days and you're getting some harvest. Some bok choy inside. If you love the taste of a nice crisp green, bok choy might just be for you. And there are plenty of varieties of bok choy as well. The green, the purple. And I will tell you that growing them indoors, one of the things we've found is that they grow really nice and big as long as you take care of them. We've also grown kale indoors, and I gotta say, kale grows great outdoors. We've still got kale growing outdoors right now, but kale is another healthy vegetable to grow indoors that doesn't take a ton of space, as is our lettuce. So lettuce, spinach, radicchio, you've got so many options for leafy greens, and they're not hard to grow. We've grown them in grow beds, we've grown them in grow bags indoors. The key is to make sure you're taking care of them, keeping them nice and watered, and they're going to produce a ton of nutrition for you, and they're going to be so healthy for you that entire growing season. So leafy greens are another great option to grow indoors. Now, sometimes you might find you have a little bit more space, or you want to use up some of the vertical space like we have in our indoor garden. And in that case, you can expand out to something like beans, even pole beans. We've grown bush beans and pole beans. And of course, just like anything else, these beans have so much variety. We've grown purple and green and gold, all indoors, and beans are a great addition to any garden, indoors or outdoors, because not only are the roots going to provide some nitrogen fixing for the following season, but you can keep picking off them for an extended period of time. And really, with pole beans, they have a pretty long season outdoors. You should see what that looks like indoors as long as you keep picking them. Well, sometimes we grow up, but we also grow root crops as well. We've grown radishes indoors. I tell you what, growing radishes takes 35 to 40 days. There's nothing quite like the taste of a fresh radish. They're so easy to grow. I mean, take a look at some of the containers we've grown these in with 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of soil, limited space, no problem for radishes whatsoever. And again, we keep coming back to the fact that any of these vegetables we talk about, there's typically a ton of different variety available. Now imagine it's February and you go into your indoor garden and you come out with a harvest that looks like this. That is exciting to see. Now another vegetable we've had some experience growing is kohlrabi. We love our kohlrabi. We've grown it indoors, we've grown it in soil, but kohlrabi is a quick 60-day plant that'll produce really nicely indoors. Now, of course, there are plenty of other root crops that you can experiment around with. I mentioned the radishes. Take a look at these little Parisian carrots. This is a small variety of carrot that only grows to about 1.5 inches, but they're super tasty. And if you have a raised bed like I do right behind me, you could use that to grow some regular sized carrots as well. Now, before I get to some of our other favorite crops we've grown indoors, I will tell you we've also experimented around growing shiitake mushrooms. We found a place that had mushroom logs and we grew successfully some shiitake mushrooms. Now, that takes a little bit more control and maybe a little bit more space depending on how you try to grow them, but that's another option that you can successfully grow indoors. Now, how many of you have ever even considered trying to grow mushrooms in your indoor garden? Now, we've grown quite a bit of fruit as well in our garden. We've grown strawberries indoors. We've also overwintered our citrus plants like our tangerine and our lemon plant. And that's actually been really beneficial to us because we've seen some good production that wouldn't be possible without having them in our indoor garden. And on top of that, we've also been able to overwinter our fig, and there are other fruits that we're overwintering even now in preparation for next season. Now, some of those take up a little bit more space, like strawberries, not so much, because I could grow them in my indoor greenstalk, no problem whatsoever. But if you don't have the space for those fruits, there are still other options available. Now, that being said, if you have a bit of a bigger space, you can open yourself up to growing tomatoes indoors. We've grown quite a few different varieties of tomatoes, and the harvest of a fresh tomato indoors, personally, I think it's not quite as delicious as an outdoor tomato, but a vine-ripened tomato from your indoor garden is always going to be preferable to trying to buy something from the store and eat that kind of cardboard. And you can grow bush variety tomatoes as well, which means that you don't need as big a space because you can keep them as compact as the Tiny Tims. One of our community members was just talking about how they grew some Tiny Tims this year. Those things are only about 12 inches tall, so there's plenty of options even for growing tomatoes. Now, we've also grown plenty of herbs indoors. We've got sage that we're now overwintering, some parsley, some thyme in here. We've got plenty of herbs that we've had good success with. We've also grown basil indoors, which is absolutely delicious. Well, you talk about a smell right there. We've had plenty of our parsley indoors even before this season. So one of the things to keep in mind is if you're somebody who needs some seasoning on your food and you want to grow even a small container of the herbs, that's a huge difference maker. Fresh herbs from your indoor garden in the middle of winter, way better than anything from the store. All right, I'm going to interrupt this video to do today's giveaway, and I think you're going to love these prizes. All right, folks, if you want to be in the giveaway next time, make sure you comment on today's video or on one of our posts between now and our next video, and we'll get you in for the next giveaway. Let's go ahead and see what the prize is for today's giveaway. Now, I said I thought our giveaway today was perfect for this video because we're trying to inspire you to try growing indoors. So we're giving away a Simple Deluxe Clamp Lamp Light, and we're giving away a Sansi Grow Light Bulb to go with it. Now, you can use this clamp just to get started. If you take a small milk jug, fill it up with sand, and take a small piece of PVC and stick it down in there, you can hang the lamp right off of it, and you are good to grow. All right, let's see who our winner of this lamp and bulb is. The winner of today's giveaway, day 5. We still got so many more days to go. The winner is Grown Up Grows. Congratulations, Grown Up Grows. We really appreciate having you as a part of our community and all the comments you've been leaving. Thank you so much. Listen, for those of you who want to enter, it's not hard to do. Leave a comment on this video. All right, let's get back to the video. Now, I was not specific about exactly how many vegetables we talk about in today's video and how many fruits. So if you've kept count and you know how many we've done, leave that in the comments, okay? And if you have to go back and rewatch to see how many we mentioned, feel free. All right, you know this isn't a Guten Gardening video without a reference to potatoes and sweet potatoes if we're talking about what we've grown indoors. We've had successful potato harvests in our raised bed, in containers, indoors. And I want to tell you something. When you grow potatoes indoors, there is nothing quite like digging for gold in a time when snow is piled on the ground outside. That is an exceptional experience. And I know, based on your comments, some of you never considered growing potatoes indoors. Well, check out our video where we talk about growing potatoes in buckets and get back to me. It is worth it. And last but certainly not least, we've also grown sweet potatoes indoors. Now, we've done it in our greenstalk. We're going to try to grow sweet potatoes in our buckets. So again, all of these things can take up as much or as little space as you want, but do not limit yourselves when it comes to what you consider planting indoors. There is so much opportunity there for you to experiment around. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't even talk about all of the vegetables and fruits that we've grown. I just wanted to give you an overview, to give you an idea, to encourage, to inspire you to try growing indoors. And don't limit yourself. Hey, this is the way that we're growing our own food. We are extending our opportunity to be self-sufficient into our indoor growing space, regardless of how big it is. Well, congratulations again to the winner. Hey, if you didn't hear me say it before, leave a comment down below. Say congratulations to the winner. Just don't mention their name because we want them to be surprised when they find it. And if you are the winner, go ahead and leave a comment as well, and we'll get back with you and get the prize shipped out to you as soon as possible. Hey, we hope you enjoyed today's video and found it inspirational. If you did, don't forget to give us a like. Leave us a comment, remember to share and subscribe, and most importantly, remember, when you're with us, you are good to grow.